Welcome once again to our reflection for today. Jesus makes three claims in the Gospel of John. He claims that all true honor comes from God. You see, it is easy to bask in our own achievements, to seek approval, for example. We can be honored by people just to be successful. If you have a name and title, you have a personality, you have a position of power, people will honor you. But true honor comes from God. That means the verdict is in the eyes of God, in the view of eternity. So how can we be honorable in the eyes of God? That means honor is part of us. It is a gift by God because we are His children. In the eyes of God, a senator, for example, is not more honorable than a poor person. In the eyes of God, a poor person is more honorable because that person is greatly in need. You see, that is why in faith, we claim that the poor deserves quick COVID testing than a senator because that senator pledged his service to people and therefore those people are more important than himself. Then the people is deserving of prioritization. That is why I always say no to VIP prioritization in COVID testing because the poor is dignified. Dignity is about this kind of honor, and the poor has dignity. So how do we know that we are living out this honor that God has given us? Well, Jesus makes two more claims, and it is very important. He claims that one, he has a unique knowledge of God. The only way to full knowledge of the true heart and mind of God is through Jesus. With our mind, we can get only fragments of this knowledge of who God is and what God will do at a certain situation. But if we look at Jesus, we already know the desires of God because Jesus is God. It is very simple. How do you love a person if you don't know that person? How can you follow a person if you don't know that person? You see, many people have been in love with the idea of being in love or the impression that you have of the person whom you claim you are in love with. Marami naman dyan na in love. Basta kasi gusto lang nila na ma-in love. Pero in love ba talaga? Kahit hindi nila masyadong kilala pa ang tao because they have never been together. They've never spent time together. As we are confined in our own homes, it is good to know who Jesus is by reading the Bible, going back to that root, the source of all our rituals, because it is there that you can get to see who Jesus is. So, pray using the Bible and reflecting on the Bible. The second thing that Jesus said, he claims a unique obedience to God, meaning to look at Jesus is to be able to say to ourselves, this is how God wishes me to live. To look at our lives and say, this is how I want to serve because this is how Jesus serves. This is serving God. Kids usually ask this question with a wristband. Alam mo yung ganon, nakalagay, WWJD. What would Jesus do? Simply, first thing, you got to know who Jesus is. And we can do that in prayer and reflecting on the Bible. How will He respond to the present situation? Because it is true. There are many things that are not in the time of Jesus. For example, our computers, technology, social media. What would Jesus do at this time kung may social media? You can only ask that question if you know who Jesus is. Kasi gets mo na kung anong sasabihin niya. So, how would Jesus respond to our health crisis? Will He claim, for example, powers? Will He treat the hungry people with the force the way the people of Barangay San Roque were treated? Will He malign or sisirain niya those people have been doing good already in their areas of work, like mayors who are actually doing their jobs? You see, Jesus said once that if they are not against us, they are for us. Ibig sabihin, people who are doing good, those who are donating, they're not competing with the government because that's supposed to be the job of those who are in government. In other words, we see what God wants us to know about Him in Jesus, and what God wants us to be in Jesus. We are the only religion that claims that we have seen God because we have experienced Jesus. So today, what would Jesus do at this time? Are the things that you're doing corresponds to what Jesus will do in this crisis? If the answer is yes, you are doing correctly. You are doing what is right. And you are honoring God. Why? Because you are reflecting who God is. So today, I hope you remember those points. Thank you once again.